Let's get grounded and centered right where we are. So please bring your hands together in front of your heart. And then as you inhale, lengthen through your side body from your hips to your shoulders. Come tall, come long. Give a little pull in of your chin to your throat so the back of your neck feels luscious and long. And then with an exhalation, let your chin come to your chest. Let your legs be heavy as your spine stays long and tall. A gesture of gratitude here for who you are, for the practice that you take, for your willingness to be up early, even though you may not need to leave your home today, to move your body. The movement of your body helps to take you out of the cognitive mind, connect to your body. Let your hands come down to your lap. Gently blink open your eyes and lift your chin. Take your arms out wide and take a big breath in. As though you're holding the biggest beach ball in the world, your arms go slightly up. And then as you exhale, keep your arms out from the side, but just twist to the left. And use just your abdominals. Just come to wherever your twist takes you. And then inhale, release that tension. Exhale, come down to the opposite side, to the right. And then come back to center. Bring your hands together back into that prayer position, but take your forearms parallel with the earth. Big breath to lengthen spine. Exhale, twist to the left. Keep your hands in line with your heart. Next inhalation comes back through the center, long spine. Exhale, belly pulls in, right shoulder blade comes back and right ribs come around. And then inhale to center. This time take your left hand behind you and your right hand across to your left knee. Create length. And then as you exhale, use your arms and your belly to help you rotate. Maybe you look over your left shoulder. Then as you inhale, come back through center. Stay long with your spine. Take your right arm behind you. Left hand comes to your right knee. Take a breath in before you move. And then as you exhale, use a little power in your arms and into your belly. And a gentle twist. And then inhale, come back through the center. Good. Take your feet onto the floor in front of you. And grab the top of your knees. Or the top of your shins. With an inhalation, try to bring your chest forward through your thighs. And then as you exhale, hold your shins and just let your back round back behind you. Inhale, draws in. Exhale, rounds out. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale and down. One more like this. Inhale forwards. And then as you roll down this time, keep your hands on your knees. Bring your knees to your chest. Roll onto your back. And then come forwards. And we're going to do this a few times. Now find different sides of your spine. This is more for a massage of your spine. So roll towards your shoulders and then bring your feet to the floor. Each time bring your heart forwards. As you come back, come to your shoulder blades, but try to keep your head from going onto the floor. Not necessary. And then roll back. And forwards. One more. Roll back. And forwards. Bring your heart forwards. Lovely. Release your hands back behind you. Take your fingers towards your feet. I'll say it this way. Straighten your arms. Engage your shoulder blades towards each other and feel a little lift in your heart. And press down into your hands. Press down into your feet and lift your hips. And then lower your hips to the ground. And then lift your hips. And lower. One more time. Lift, squeeze, shoulder blades together, look to the ceiling. Good, we're going to do a few more. This time we're going to, as you come down, can you straighten your legs and bring your hips back towards your hands? Maybe you sit on the floor, maybe you keep yourself a little lifted. Then pull with your heels as your hips come high. And then as you come down, extend your legs. And then 2 more. Down, long, last one. Straighten your legs. Take your bum to the ground. Leave your left leg straight and bring your right leg in on a bent position so the bottom of your foot is against your inner thigh. Pull your toes of your extended leg to your face and work the meat of your bum out sort of to the back side so that you can sit on your sitting bones. Take your arms out wide with fingertips and then press down with your hands to lift through your heart. And keeping your spine long, think about belly towards thigh and heart coming forwards. Let's just walk our fingers forwards. And you feel the stretch through the back of your leg. Maybe it's in your calf, maybe it's in your under your hamstring. If it's behind your knee, I want you just to bend your knee a little bit so that you can feel the stretch either above or below your knee. And then your fingers are like little cranes pulling you forwards, maybe like little tugboats. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Big breath in each time. Lift your heart, and then heart comes straight forwards. Then walk your hands back as you sit up tall. Bring your hands up and hold them together. See if you can keep them there. Your right knee, take it towards your shoulder, and can you lift your foot off the floor? And then take your right leg long. Lift your left leg. Bring your knee to your shoulder and put the sole of your foot on the floor. If you then need to grab your foot and move it, by all means, please do so. Again, take that little pull of your buttocks backwards. Take your fingertips out. And as you press down, it's like you've got extra bits of your statue to help you lift. Be proud, be tall, be long. Pull your toes to your shin. And then belly towards thigh, heart straight forwards as your hands walk forwards and pull you. Little tuck of your chin in so your neck's long. You're sort of looking down straight at your big toe. Big breath in, exhale. Maybe there's a little bit more. Avoid rounding through your upper back, so that's where you keep your shoulder blades together. Keep lifting heart. Think belly and thigh. Long through spine, we still get a good stretch through hamstring, maybe calf. And a little bit longer. Good, and then walk your hands back. Inhale to sit up tall. Grab your hands in front of you again. Left knee once again comes up towards your shoulder. See if you can take your foot off the floor and take both your legs long. Great, take your legs as wide as your mat. Bend your knees so your heels are on the floor. Use your hands to walk you forwards. Come to a squat position and then lift yourself all the way up. Bring your feet about a fist width apart. Squeeze your shins together and take your thighs and roll them slightly backwards. And as you do that, you may feel a broadening across your sitting bones. Come tall, and then there's a little tuck of your pelvis forwards as you still keep your thighs going backwards. Rolling inside, like you're rolling pasta between your legs. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Let your knees bend so your belly and your thigh can come into contact and your hands can come to the floor. Then let your head and shoulders be heavy. Give a little walk out through your legs. Might feel again that stretch through the back of your leg, maybe into your hip. Coming to a halfway lift, so bend both your knees. Take your hands to the top of your shin, and then bring your your chest away from your thighs so your back becomes parallel, and let the middle of your heart come forwards. Oftentimes we can round up through your thorax. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades and come long with your spine, like we've been working all class this morning. And then exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. If your knees were bent, please leave them bent. You can use a little pressure in your hands into your shin to help you create a little bit more length through your spine. Feels like you're sticking your bum out behind you. And then exhale and fold. Plant your hands to the floor. Step back. Have your feet still that one fist width apart. Push down into your fingers, so you're not driving straight into your wrist. You're spreading the weight out to your fingers as your hips push back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Lengthen through your armpits, through your side body. Let your hips come to the back of the room. Push your thighs back. Good. With an inhale, lift your right leg. Press into your hands, draw your shoulder blades away from each other. And as you take your weight forwards, bring your right knee to your chest. And then keep the roundedness in your upper back as you work to then step your right leg forwards between your hands. Come up onto your fingertips. Once again, shoulder blades together. And then lean your hips forwards. You get a little stretch through your left hip flexor right now. Good. Press down into your feet. Take your arms out wide. And then lift. So back leg stays long. Little pull up of your pelvis. Little lift up of your heart. Down with your shoulder blades. High lunge. Good. Squeeze your thighs into your hips. Create length all the way through to your fingertips. Lovely. And then as you exhale, fold your belly onto your thigh. Take your hands down either side of your front foot. And then step back to a downward facing dog. On your next inhalation, lift your left leg. Press in through your hands, so the outer edge of your palms, your fingers take all the weight. Roll your shoulder blades away from each other. Lift your chest as much as you can. Lift your knee to your chest as much as you can as you then step left leg through and forwards. Lift your heart and let your hips, your best friend is just pushing your hips forwards. Your heart lifts a little bit. Right thigh is strong. Press down into the earth with your feet. Take your arms out wide. Feel stability and balance. And then inhale, come up. So take your right thigh back behind you. Lift your pelvis, lift your heart long from your hips to your shoulders. Reach up into your fingers. Then see if you can bend your front knee a little bit more and lower your hips. Good. One more breath in. We squeeze everything into the middle of your body, into your core. And as you exhale, push through your feet, through your hands to reach high. Take your arms wide, fold forwards. Take your hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and stick your bum up in the air as much as you can. Notice how you can get lovely and long through your armpits and wrap your triceps towards your ears. Take a breath in, push from your fingers out through the length of your spine, and then work your legs towards straight, keeping that same length through your spine. Good, like releasing a rubber band. Let your heels come high, let your hips come high, roll forwards to a plank or a push-up position. And then this morning, first time, let's take the knees to the floor. Wrap your shoulder blades together and keep a long line from your hips, your knees, your hips, your shoulders if you can, tuck your tail forwards. And then lower yourself all the way to the ground, a little half push-up. Once your thighs and your belly are on the floor, untuck your toes, so press your toenails down into the floor. Take your palms onto the floor beside your hips, so your fingers are pointing back towards your heels. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Press your toenails into the floor so that your kneecaps lift. Good. Keeping that inhale, lift your heart, press into your hands. Each inhalation, heart lifts, your spine muscles work, make your legs stronger, they help you lift. Look down at about a 45-degree angle so your neck's long. Last big breath in. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Bring your hands either side of your rib cage. Tuck your toes. Place your knees to the floor. Push yourself back up. Extend your legs. Push back. Downward facing dog. Good. Bend your knees, look to your hands, and then walk your feet forward to your hands until you're then once again in a forward fold, Uttanasana. And then come up to a half lift. So long spine, heart forward, position called Ardha Uttanasana. Remember, it feels like you're sticking your bum out behind you, and then fold forwards. Sweep your arms out wide, and then come all the way up. Hands come up above your head. And then bring your hands to your heart. Lovely. Let's reverse that. Take your hands high. Take your arms wide. Stick your bum out behind you as your heart falls forwards over your thighs. Bring your hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. Press through into your fingers, bring your knee to your chest, come forwards, weight comes into your hands, step your right leg forwards. Feel strength into the floor, and then rotate your left heel down to the floor, and sweep one arm, then the other, up coming out from your shoulders. So your back foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat, and your front toes are pointing forwards to the front of your mat. Arms are out from your shoulders, like you could connect them to the back of a broomstick. Tuck your pelvis, pull your low ribs in, squeeze your legs into your hips as you create length through your spine. Inhale. Exhale, can you push your feet away, push your arms away, and maybe lower your hips slightly. One more breath in here. Exhale, extend your fingers away from each other. Create space through your hips. Lovely. Flip your front palm. Pull yourself a little bit forwards, and then come arms straight to the ceiling. Lengthening through the right side of your body. Take a breath in from hips to shoulders, lengthen. Maybe with an exhalation, you lean back. And then on your next inhale, big move, arms sweep all the way to the floor, back heel lifts, hands plant. Step right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. Bring your knee to your chest as you lift your belly to the ceiling. Take your shoulder blades wide, press into your hands, and then step your left foot forwards. Rotate your right foot down to the floor. Press down with your legs to give you the ability to lift. Make a circle with your arms. Back foot parallel with the back edge of your mat. Front toes pointing forwards. Front knee is pointing out over your toes. Good. Squeeze your thighs into your hips. Create length through your spine. Then as you exhale, extend your arms. Look forwards over your middle finger. Maybe there's a little ability to lower your hips. One more time. Breathe into your belly. Exhale, push your feet away. Extend your arms, extend through the crown of your head. Then flip your front palm. Lean forwards. And then sweep straight up. You're going to get good length through your left side here, so that might be enough. If you feel like you can lift over your right hip and there's no pinching, then feel free to come more to the back of the room. Breathe into your belly. Exhale, push down through the floor, up through your hands. Next, big breath in. Arms sweep all the way to the floor. Back heel lifts. Plant your hands down. Step back, downward facing dog.
Look to your hands, bend your knees. Walk or maybe hop forwards, feet to hands. Come to find forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, heart forwards. If your knees were bent in your forward fold, leave them bent. Long spine, crown of your head coming forwards. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half lift. Sit your bum down a little bit more. Take your arms out wide. Start to lift your chest and hold here. Tuck your tailbone underneath. Pull your belly in. Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, straighten your legs. Bring your arms up high. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Big breath in creates length. Feet push down. Head comes high. And then sit back into chair pose. So look down and see your toes in front of your knee. Little belly pulls in, tailbone towards your heels, hands to your heart. Squeeze your thighs but keep them parallel. Lift your heart and then see if you can lower your bum. Push down through into your feet. Good. Balance on your right leg. Come this way. Balance on your right leg, lift your left leg, and then take it back into a lunge position. Rotate your back heel to the floor. Bring your right elbow to your right thigh. Take your left hand to your left hip. Your right ribs, I want you to bring them forwards and left shoulder blade back so your heart comes to the wall to the side. Squeeze everything into your belly. And then as you exhale, push your feet away, lower your hips, come long through your spine. Then take your top arm, bicep to your ear. If your shoulders can stay stacked, please feel free to stay here. If it starts to roll you forwards and you're now looking at the ground, just take your hand back to your hips so you can get your heart open. One more big breath in here. Then as you exhale, can you take your left shoulder blade back and look up to the ceiling? Hold here. Good. Top hand comes like you're coming across curtains as you bring yourself back up, Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Now we're going to reverse and come all the way down to the ground. Step your back foot forwards, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, sink your bum down, so now your thighs are maybe parallel to the floor. Take your arms out wide, come all the way up, and bring your hands down. Take your arms wide, sit down into your chair pose, tuck your tail, pull your belly in, lift your heart, slide your knees back so you can see your toes. This time, balance into your left leg. Lift your right leg, step back, big step back into a lunge position. As your right heel comes to the floor, left elbow comes to your thigh, hand to your top, hand to your hip. Focal point your core. So as you breathe in, squeeze into here. Then as you exhale, spread through your legs, out through your head. Maybe your hips can lower and create length through your spine. Breathe into your left ribs. Then as you exhale, bring your left ribs forwards, right shoulder blade back, look to the ceiling. Now take your bicep to your ear. Legs are firm and strong, holding you. One more full breath in. One more breath out. Good. Next inhalation. Right hand brings you up. Virabhadrasana 2. And then top hand comes back and around, comes all the way to the floor. Back foot steps forwards, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Remember, squeeze your shoulder blades, bring your heart forwards. Exhale and fold. Step both feet back to a plank position. Take your knees to the floor. Lower your body all the way to the floor. Press your toenails into the floor, lift your kneecaps. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift your elbows and hover your hands off the floor. Hover your hands, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Don't forget to squeeze your legs. Good. Now keeping all of that, with your next inhalation, lift the crown of your head and bring your heart forwards. Smaller back bend, but good activity through your spine. Your spine knows it's alive. Belly pushes down, chest lifts. Exhale, bring everything to the floor. Tuck your toes, push your knees down. Half push up, push back, downward facing dog. Take a little walk out through your feet. Bend your knees, look to your hands, step or maybe hop forwards. And this time, take your feet out to the outside of your hands. And then lower yourself to the floor, maybe your hands stay on the floor. And then lift your thighs parallel to the ground, and then lower. And we've got 4 more of these. Lift, and lower. Take your feet nice and wide. Nice and wide so you can get your heels on the floor. Last one. Come down, bring your hands hop up into a prayer position. Push down through your legs, come all the way up. Take your arms wide, bring them back into a prayer position. Good. Sink your bum down, take your left hand back behind you, and sit your bum to the floor. And then take your left hand back behind you just a little bit more, so it's just past your shoulder. Have your feet pointing forwards, and take your right hand to your left shoulder. Press down into your feet, down into your left arm, and lift your hips. And then can you take your right shoulder over your left shoulder as your hips stay 90 degrees? Good. And then lower yourself down. And then right hand comes behind you, left hand comes to your opposite shoulder. Press through your feet, press through your hand, lift your hips as high as you can. And then see, can you take your left shoulder over your right shoulder? And then lower yourself all the way to the floor. Let's do that one more side on each time. Lift your hips. Once your hips are high, can you stack your shoulders? Shoulder over wrist of your back hand would be ideal. And then lower yourself all the way to the ground. Switch your arms. This is the last one. Lift your hips, engage your thighs, use your glutes. Lift as high as you can. Arm comes across to your opposite shoulder. And then stack. Left shoulder over right wrist. Good. As you bend your elbow, you send your hips to the floor. Take your hands forwards. Big breath in. Draw your heart forwards. And then round back. Lift, sitting bones back, heart forwards. Exhale and round. One more time, pull forwards. And from here, let's take 3 rocks. So rock back and forwards. And back and forwards. And back and forwards. Take your arms out, roll your spine to the floor. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath your back. Let your legs come long, let your toes fall out to the side. Let your palms be to the ceiling. And a little tuck of your chin to your throat so your neck is long. Take a long, deep breath in. Hold it in. Exhale, release. Out your mouth. Let's do that one more time. And release. Now as you lie there, taking a moment to allow your body to sink and melt to the floor. I'll offer you this. That space is bad. This space is good. That ride is rough, or a ride is going smooth. We are thrown into suffering. We are thrown into joy. Beloved soulmate, find the space in the center, the pulsing spaciousness encompassing all opposites. Here the essence of creation are at play. Earth, water, fire, air, and space, and the senses that perceive them. The center is the dancing ground. Take one more big breath in, and one big sigh out. Then on your next inhalation, please roll onto your favorite side. And then using another breath in, come to sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands to your heart, lengthen from your hips to your shoulders. And then as you exhale, once again, bow your chin to your chest. The highest in me honors the highest in you. Namaste.